So I wanted to make another video that I think is important. One is I think my mother shot herself, or because I'm trying to remember my mom's body language, and I remember whenever I already talked about this several times, where my mother was laying in bed and she goes to her leg and she goes like that. Why would someone who's severely ran over by a forklift, go like this? And it makes me think to myself that, I don't know if anything could have been a situation like that, or they just said, because I had questioned that injury when it happened and I made an observation. So this particularly doesn't look like someone ran over your leg. It just didn't kind of look like that. It looked like the leg was crushed, but it didn't really kind of necessarily looked that the leg got ran over. But I don't know what the circumstances is, but I thought it was important for me to say this because I still don't know. There could be some sort of surprise for Sara Cooper again. And I think that's really disturbing. Probably one of the most higher disturbing of this situation is Sara Cooper is trying to use my dead sister's spirit and entity to gravitate to the benefiting of the spiritual afterlife for Sara Cooper, and have an enforcement attachment and have everyone else go along with that belief that she carries more caretaking and spirit for her and she's the owner. That is why Sara Cooper, when she gave me that look, she's doing that, like saying oh, I'm Marissa, I can't believe you did that. And it's playing a psychological game, because that's what that person is doing. So that saying that, oh, I own Marissa, I own her spirit. So it's a benefiting factor, because she was doing this in the hospital when I was dying. And she's sitting like this, and she says, yeah, and she says this about herself. This is one of the most selfish things. My mother really liked this too. Yeah, Dad used to call me Princess all the time. And this is what she does. You can look at the cameras. I'm in the hospital. Who the fuck is this fucking worthless, fucking filthy pig of a worthless bitch to use my own dead sister's, my mother's dead daughter, to then try to make a mockery of that? There's a difference between total strangers and women that don't know, but this person wants ownership and wants to say that that's her dead spirit, and she's saying where it's going to go so that it benefits her in the afterlife, and it doesn't work for me. And as long as you believe that, and everyone else does, it is the highest level of treasures that a worthless bitch like that can do. Now, the joke's on my mother, because as soon as I go along with everyone else, that's exactly what's going to happen, because the President of the United States is directly ordering that. The President of the United States and the psychologist can immediately put that motherfucking bitch down to say, no, you're fucking not. That doesn't belong to shit for you. But they're exercising that, and they're allowing that behavior to happen, because the more you file down, the more it goes along with the worthless bitch. So I think it's important for me to talk about, because this is my own flesh and blood, my sister who is dead. The list goes of an entire lifetime. I just don't even know that this is my sister and dead. All of a sudden, Sara Cooper's the owner and behaving emotionally and dramatic about this in front of my face and laughing. And then the guy at the register starts threatening me, so then I start being submissive, and yeah, that's Sara Cooper's, and I have to stay quiet and okay, that's Sara Cooper's dead body. And you practice that. And they just shot me in my bicep to get away with it. But it doesn't change the fact that the church wants that dead little girl to gravitate, because who built the church? Oh, Sara Cooper. Oh, no, that's what you... And that's what they're doing. So I thought it was important, because that's one of the highest level of substances that Sara Cooper wants, and that's what Kenneth wants to give to his mother. Because the belief of the afterlife, that entity, whatever it is so grateful for Sara. And there's just a little bit to my mother, but Sara came and protected my mother and was dealing with the drum. But then that's what Sarah Palin in the White House gave her. That's exactly what the President of the United States and Congress and the government and all these pigs over there were doing. And that's what they're allowing to happen. That bitch, Sara Palin, was over there behaving like Sarah Cooper because they want to claim her dead body. I know exactly what the fuck they're doing. There is no miscommunication with this, because we all don't know what's going to happen. And we all watch mediumships. We all watch ghost stories. We all know the angel stories. But for a dead little girl wearing a princess outfit, that's a match-made movie in heaven to make sure that you get all the benefits off of it. Because not only is it a little girl that like that dies, but she's mentally retarded. And that she's mentally retarded also associates with the level of intelligence of what God is. And they're shooting me right now in my hand. And it hurts the knuckles. But I wanted to say this, crucially important, to say this. That she just wants her entity. And she wants me to believe that. She wants to get everyone to believe that entity in the afterlife is because they were the ones that were the treasuring her spirit. And then they got to get involved with the dead little spirit girl. And the angel and the spirit is going to help Sara in the afterlife when it's time for her to cross over and give her hugs and kisses, because she was throwing up and shitting herself, and I was just throwing to a curb while she was practicing mortality on me. And she did it because she's investigating detective and just did it for love and Jesus. Bullshit. That is a parasite scavenger piece of shit motherfucker. That is the highest altitude of scum that you can get from a fucking human, worthless bitch like that to do that to. And especially in front of the brother of a dead little girl like that, and practice that. There is nothing beautiful that ever happened between Sara. You have no idea that I'm throwing myself into the fucking snakes to find out questions about what Sara and Kenneth and Ken Cooper know about, because my mother had her leg crushed and she's with her boyfriend, and apparently her boyfriend is under control. This was an ongoing basis. There were several calls and threats. My mother would be crying. My mother would fucking get off the fucking phone and be stressing when she talked to this worthless bitch. She does not want her fucking white supremacists and these gay faggot transgender motherfuckers to go ahead and say, look, this is my dead body, this is my spirit, I want to use it in the afterlife. But that's exactly what the President of the United States is fucking ordering. He beats me with these electronic devices and he does this goddamn shit. I know 100% this is no mistake, no misguiding, I know what's happening. She knows she did so much bad. Now she wants the leverage to get that good right there. Because now they don't want me to have it. They're going to have probably some sort of funeral service. And that worthless bitch is the one that's taunting it. I know what look she just gave. I know what she just fucking did. And she's doing this for preparation for the funeral. So and then remember that when you go to the funeral service and bury her. Where the fuck is Michaela and my biological father, you worthless bitch? Who the fuck are you? The president, Sara Palin, at the White House is harassing me, playing this whole, we're going to scoop up the dead body for Sarah Cooper and the white supremacists in the White House. That's what they're fucking doing. And they're not going to stop until they get exactly what they fucking want. It is going to happen. And they're going to rearrange everything, because they're not going to want me to say, oh, it's different from the crucifix, because this person can't read a Bible and say what the crucifix is going to be. That's why that guy downstairs looks like Ken Cooper and is beating the shit out of me with electronic devices and then hitting the walls and directing me toward the crucifix and then hitting this Marissa's funeral service right here. This is all they're fucking doing. And then he hits the fucking wall and starts sliding something against the wall like he's sliding, and I'm going to let you get slide away with this because Sarah slid over there. And they're playing this mortality of my dead sister. It's very sickening and crazy what these fucking people are doing. My mother is not in any good mental state. So even if my mother showed up, we do this funeral service for Sarah Cooper, in the spirit of Sarah Cooper, my mother won't be able to function. She'll have very dull, very rotten, very dismissive, very dysfunctional emotions when we bury her. And, you know, it does make me want to cry. I mean, they're shooting electronic devices at me. I don't know if that's why I feel like crying, because the worthless bitch Sara Cooper is the owner, isn't it? But you want to tell the worth, you don't want to put that bitch down, because an old bitch doesn't do bad things, does it? And I think it's worth talking about. It's not going to stop. If they did this at the White House, and they did this at Congress, and Sarah Palin, that worthless bitch, and to do this, and they feel sorry for that. I had to watch this girl get slapped and hit and abused, throw up shit and piss in front of my house. I didn't even know it was my fucking sister, and Sara Cooper's like this, and this is what she's doing. This is what she does. But they're gonna say, oh, that's not what I meant. She goes, oh, I'm Marissa. You see, Hector? It was Marissa, and I'm just Sara Cooper. And then you just go to Jesus, and we go to Jesus. You see how Sara Cooper and Jesus and the crucifix? Yeah, Spirit was for me. I know Marissa's there. You see, I'm Spirit. This is what this worthless bitch is fucking behaving. And then the fat ass piece of shit worthless motherfucker slob that's sitting over at the register then becomes hostile when I ask a question. And they begin shooting electronic devices to make me very irritant of the situation, so that they can say, you see, I told you where her dead spirit goes. You see, that's where he went the whole fucking time, and who gets the fucking credit. You see who got the pig credit? Because that little girl doesn't associate with the Bible. There's no church activity. There's none of that goes into their house. Neither did Ivan. And I asked Ivan. He had been there just once or twice. Now, if that isn't just Ivan's sister, no. This little bit now is the one that Sara Cooper is the one that gave me. And when we bury her, it's going to be for Sara Cooper. You remember Sarah Palin, you worthless bitch. You did this for the president. You did this for the White House. And you scum motherfuckers did this shit. That's who it's going to be for. And it's very upsetting to me, because if my mother can't talk and she's being fucked in her ass, and she's trying to go over there and make a little bit of money and whore herself out because she has no choice, and being raped right next door to the room next door, Mr. President fucking my mother in the ass while her daughter, Sara Cooper's angel. Yeah, Barack Obama. Yeah, you see, President, you did it again, huh? And you sure really cleaned up really good, huh? And it's very upsetting. It boils my blood. I don't like it at all. But I know that's what's I'm not gonna say anything. I'm gonna say everything I'm supposed to say. Oh, Sarah, yeah, Sarah, and then white power and Ken Cooper and Kenneth, because you're protecting Kenneth is what you're doing. To me, it's almost like I have to feel this pain for my mother, because she can't. And I think it's more important to the sense of to try at least to say something, but obviously these electronic devices is what made me feel empathetic just a second ago, because that's just what they do with the worthless dead body of a little girl, because you want to use your spirit, and then you can put the spirit right over, and it was Jesus the whole time, wasn't it, for Sara Cooper and for Kenneth. That's a good quality white girl though, right, huh? And it's very difficult because she had the same hair as I do. I mean, she had the same hair, and she was just a girl. Oh, you know what? Maybe she wasn't a girl, and I've thought about this seriously. Maybe she was a transgender. You know what? Kenneth Cooper is a transgender, and Lynette is a transgender. Michelle is. You see how we can use a transgender, Miranda, whatever the fuck her name was? That works real good, Mr. President, for your daughter transgender movement. You see, that one's a transgender. It was just she knew she was a transgender too, huh? Wasn't it? It's very upsetting. It drives me, it boils my blood. It makes me very angry. But I know I have to say everything I'm going to have to say if there's ever a funeral service, if there ever is. But it's very difficult in the beginning steps to accept that that spirit and soul belongs to her. She does what she wants it, and then everyone else plunges me for it. Because just in that moment of preparation, like right before it happens, they'll emotionally prepare me and mental state, all the situations, and then the burial. And then the burial will be very, quick, very easy, very simplified. But my mother's not going to have this be dull as rotten. My mother would just be dull as fuck. And it sucks because I knew how my mother felt about the situation. I was there. Who owns her spirit? Sara Cooper. The way that she looked at me. That's not the way that she... It's just I'm going into details. But I want to play that bitch shit that girls do or that transgenders do. She just, you know, it's just Sara Cooper. Feels sorry. She gets the spirit. My mother is literally coming home crying because she got fucked in her ass. And it's laughter when she's doing this. I swear to fucking God, I was at the grocery store and this is what this bitch was doing. And Sarah Palin and the White House was doing this. There were all these Congress people lined up, these pigs. All, like, I could, their body language and everything was like, Sara Cooper, Sarah Palin. Sara Cooper, Sarah Palin. I swear to God, when I went into this fucking place, when I went into the fucking Congress 5 years ago, when I went into Congress 5-6 years ago, and they gave me a pass to walk into the Senate, yeah, I know. This is for Sarah Palin and Sara Cooper for the dead spirit of the dead little girl because you want to feel sorry for a worthless bitch. You're going to get everybody to believe that. Then you're going to throw it to the fucking crucifix because who built the fucking goddamn church and who's white and who's faggot and who's transgender. You just throw me all the garbage shit and then tell me to tolerate it. And then tell me that's treasured emotion bullshit. But this faggot downstairs is doing the hitting and all this other shit. The fuck's his worthless motherfucker? He got maybe 5 years, 10 years at best to live. But nobody gives a fuck. And it's very, 10 times even more and more difficult when I have to deal with something like this. Because you have your faggots and your transgenders attacking me at the grocery store. And is literally telling me that. Is yelling at me. Playing, let's play Marissa's Spirit, and she stands on the other side like I'm next door to my house where she died, and she's like, "Not here!" And this is what she says and screams to tell me that that's the spirit, that's her spirit. Now I just saw Sara Cooper 3 days ago, so the next day I go to the grocery store and this transgender tells me, "Not here. We own her for the transgender and faggots and for Sara Cooper." My mother is being fucked in her ass raped, okay? I'm trying to figure this out. What the fuck is going on? I go to Frankie, but it's okay for Sara Cooper to play that fucking piece of shit attitude. They're all feeling sorry for her. And this is all because of Kenneth that's playing along with this goddamn shit. All this dead little girl is a fucking worthless dead body of trash that's being thrown onto me for credibility to then shit it over to the crucifix. And use that spirit entity of any understanding that we think can be comforting to ourselves and our own beliefs for Sarah and to her family. That is the same biological father and the same biological mother that I only have. That's my only full-blooded sister. That bitch is not even my fucking blood. This is not even my bio, but we share the same father. I can't believe this goddamn shit. It's hard because I know if I haven't talked to my mother in 20 fucking years and there's ever a burial service, if the communication between my mom is always going to be fresh. It takes a very long time to reestablish something that's going to be comfortable between me and my mother because Sara Cooper got involved in Kenneth. And she's playing her game right now with the faggots and transgenders. So what happens is that and I gotta itch my fucking dick and balls because they're shooting the electronic devices on my fucking crotch. I know, because then that's where Marissa is, huh? So I think it's important for me to say, because I know that if there ever is a burial service, it is nothing about it's going to go good. It's all for Sarah Palin, the White House, the Congress to scum it, the worthless corpse, to make him look good, to make him look loyal, to make him look loving, to make it help for white power. Ken Cooper and Kenneth, I was scummed immediately digging trash cans for fucking food. I was the one that literally saw this girl get hit, and I'm the one that said something. Frankie saw her get hit several times, and Julian could probably tell you the same fucking thing. But we're gonna make this about Sarah Palin and Sarah Cooper and the faggot that was threatening me and making sure that I stay obedient to her spirit, so her spirit goes right away, and I believe that. Because I know that this whole situation, any burial, is going to be for Kenneth, for Sarah, for their family, for the whites, for their white supremacy and their belief and their credibility. I didn't get anything from it. I watched this girl every day going to school. You know, I already talked about my story before, and I remember very distinctively thinking to myself how sort of this distance. I didn't know who this was, my sister, but I remember going to school every day along with her. Like, okay, you go to school, and I go to school. You know, God really cares about you. He's greater than what we think He is, or what we see with a crucifix. For Sarah Cooper and Kenneth and the President of the United States and Sarah Palin. But I think it's important for me to talk about, because that's how worthless dead bodies like that are, and mine is as well, and whatever they want to scavenge, because it's only good for their contentment of the afterlife, and that everyone else believes that, and then they move forward in that comfort in front of everybody. And that's the worst feeling, because when you have like that happen, everybody watches all the homicides, the genocides, how worthless dead bodies have died since the history of time. Nobody gives a shit. They just want to feel comfortable to the afterlife. And that's something that that's something that I didn't even use, because I didn't know it was my sister, but that's something I've never even done. But that's the next steps that Sarah Cooper's getting prepared for. That's what that worthless bitch is doing. Because I can get you to think what I want you to think, and I'm going to get everyone else to threaten you like that piece of shit did. Then the other piece of shit that said, oh yeah, not here, not this spirit, yeah, you go to Jesus because we own his spirit. It starts yelling. And this is what they're practicing. They're practicing for funeral service. They're practicing the idea of what entity, we think human beings have entities. So when I say, oh, you can believe in love, but you can't believe in Jesus or any of this shit, well, there's a lot of people doing much more loving than any people in the church that believe in Jesus or any God. But that's exactly what they're fucking doing. They're preparing the situation. They're scumming everything that they possibly fucking can. They want to make sure they staple it to that. They want to make sure that, oh, it's just, you know, it was Sarah Cooper built a church for Ken Cooper did. You know, like, you can never replace such a tragedy, because that affects me immediately. It doesn't change the fact. This old bitch over here that's 104 fucking years old, she has an orange chair sitting right over there for Sarah Cooper. She's in the spirit of Sarah Cooper and whatever sex secret life that these double life motherfuckers lived. I have to then deal with my mother disposing of that little girl all over again. We're going to help Sarah Cooper's spirit, because that's what she wants. She wants me to get pissed off. She wants me to get angry and wants me to stay jealous and fucking infuriated, because then she walks away, and that's what Spirit gave her for President Barack Obama before he gave me the George Bush Award for the World Trade Center. I am not using this dead girl in any kind of way like a free ticket, and I haven't. And even in conversations, unless the psychologist said I was. But that's what's happening. And that's the only future that's waiting for me, because I haven't been in my mom's life maybe just 2-3 times, and I've been fooled this entire time talking to her twin. So what happens when I finally, have to go into her house? I have to go talk to her. Whatever, oh, you got me a BMW? Oh, you got me a good place? Oh, you're going to take me to Shenying's Rehabilitation Center, or whatever the fuck it is. Tell me the whole enchilada, I'm HIV positive, we got these Trent bitches out of the trash can and cleaned them up for you for president. You see how life works? Because he's got burned over here. Feel sorry for me. Feel sorry for me. American soldier got blown up in the face. Feel sorry for me. So you can feel more compassion to the American people in your family. You're just a fuck up, and your mother is. I think it's very difficult. It's very painful. But that's the practice. That's the intent. And that's something I don't want to be a part of. And that's what they're doing downstairs. So every time this white person shows up with blonde hair and they behave good, they're only there for all the bad situations, to alleviate Ken Cooper and the white supremacists, to alleviate the White House, and to make the delusional inception of belief for me to say that, oh, okay, because everyone knows I said about many years ago there was some sort of ghost, or there was me talking to an imaginary friend. Well, no one wants to believe the part that I said. The reason that was because I was watching Poltergeist. And I could tell you that little blonde girl that you see in Poltergeist, that's exactly what I decided to go ahead and make an imprint in my head and take off, because I was so bored at that house. But nobody wants to hear any more of the story, that it was just an imaginary bullshit. But it seemed very real to cost someone's life. And to me it seemed very real, but I was just a kid. But what happens with this? Who's the angel now? Every time you see a white bitch with blonde hair, pale skin, oh, blue eyes, angel again now though, huh? That's a Mexican dead little girl. That's a colored little girl. Fucking wearing a pink princess outfit. In Mexico, we don't even have princesses. Mexico does not have princesses. There's queens, like Inca queens, but they're not even called queens, I don't even think, because their men controlled everything. I don't even know if there was probably high superior females, but it just doesn't work like in the kingdoms that you hear about in London, in the UK, or in Russia, or Ukraine, or Spain. You don't hear about those types of stories of queens, or China. Those queens and princesses stories in India, those are other countries. Mexico, I've never heard of any Mexican history of like the stapling of the history of princesses and queens. There isn't. The closest is Aztec Indians, where there were pyramids, and that's against Jesus for sure. So she's wearing a princess outfit, a pink one, with socks, and French socks. You know, little socks with the little ballerina skirts on there, with black shoes. These sort of like black shiny shoes. Oh, but you know what? I need to be electrocuted again, because it's just, Sarah Cooper. I feel sorry for the old bitch to behave that way. You're the one that's playing this game. The President of the United States, Barack Obama, and his people are the one that's playing this game. I have to deal with my mother that's also going to be numb with this. And when I watch that behavior from her, I'm going to reflect that. I'm going to have to throw it in her trash can like she did all over again when I was a kid. And that's not what she was doing. And she was cringing and crying when she was watching her daughter get hit in front of me. But you're going to get Sarah Cooper as Sarah Palin at the White House for George Bush because the World Trade Center collapsed. And then you use that spirit over there, and you thought I was going to use the spirits over there to make the excuse out of heaven. In heaven, through Jesus, right? Is that how it works? Or is it my dead sister I was trying to... Oh no, just throw it in the pile of wood over there with all the 2,000 dead bodies that fell along and caused the war, and another 10,000 that died in Iraq. Now bring the ones that are injured and talk about Jesus and all this other shit, but Sarah Cooper and Kenneth stay comfortable in white power. Oh, it's not white power, but that's what you did to me. I purchased a beautiful piece of artwork that was from Apocalypto. I was hoping to get it miniature size to set it in the ship, to place it on the ship or some sort of decoration. I have to throw it in the trash because it's not Jesus' belief, and these people are beating me with electronic devices. This guy downstairs is doing it, the people at the fucking bus when I get at the grocery stores, because this place has to stay purified with only Jesus Christ type shit. Even this lamp, I just got a little small tiny fucking lamp, this Native American Indian. It's a little light bulb. So just a little light bulb, because it's not as big as that crucifix. And in the fridge I have a couple salsas and spices that were Japanese that I wasn't welcome to purchase when I was at Walmart. Because that culture does not believe in Jesus or any of that shit. They don't even allow Bibles to fucking walk in like some places in Korea. Oh, but you know what? We're going to go and play that fucking goddamn shit because you want to feel sorry for that shit. This is so penetrating because women, real females transgenders are not the same. Real females with mental states, they know this They think different. It does not matter. I understand there are females that men, boys that grow up to think they're girls and they live that way their entire lives. That's fine. It is not the fucking same. The female when you're born with a full female brain, it is not the fucking same. I don't care how much you think you practice that shit. They understand mentally very well in the dramatic details of what Sarah, that worthless bitch Sarah Palin, and what females are doing to scavenge in that type of behavior. They're real smart at that. They can pick up on it very fast, and their brains are different. So you can see they're shooting my middle knuckle like this, right? But that's what you're doing whenever you bring that pig right over there, huh? That's what you're doing when my mom's crying, dealing with Sarah. And then you have Sarah Cooper feel sorry right over there. Kenneth is the one that's doing, and then you gave Kenneth, because my mother's just stupid. If you didn't just dispose of me, dispose of her, dispose of me, no, you Frankie's 10 count rapes in the fucking ass. So Kenneth can be hip-hop station and forgiveness story for Madison. Because Madison is a real princess. That's a real white girl right there. And then she just, angel work. But you're not going to be able to pick that piece of shit motherfucking bitch up, huh? You're going to get a princess story, huh? You're going to get not the scum shit that how my family and me and that little girl and what we're going to get. No, we're going to get the scum money when it comes and shows up, when it does. Even the burial fucking service is not going to be in the service for my fucking mother. I mean, it's going to be scum to us, but it's going to be for Sarah Palin and Sarah Cooper and the scum pieces of motherfucking shit, huh? But you want to remember, you control the spirit, you control the entity that exists. You're the one that's triggering it, and you're the fat worthless motherfucker that's threatened me at the grocery store. That's what you're fucking doing. I'm not the one that's bringing this shit up and mutilating it and dragging it around. I was yelling inside the fucking Congress library and in the hallways, inside the fucking, right within 100 yards of the White House. Right there in Congress, yelling, pissed off, because Barack Obama is intentionally just dragging my worthless dead sister's body around all over the place so these scum motherfuckers can have a good time about it. They're not wanting to say, okay, let's put it to the side, talk about it, whatever details I can. No, it's about honoring her spirit and an entity in afterlife. Now they think I'm going to go, they're trying to think that I'm going to go commit suicide and think that she's going to be there waiting for me. Because it's just, that's how beautiful the fucking afterlife is. And it's just, she mentally can't exercise God. In fact, when she was doing this, and she fell and hit her head in the back, I saw her and crying. Ivan got up really, really fast to help her and pick her up, like that. And I saw her crying, and I kind of lunged forward a little bit to kind of help, but I saw that he got up before me. When she was doing this, before she died, she was really doing this. Sarah Cooper, before death, angel. What? Now tell that guy to come threaten me again and act hostile and do those practices, and you have no fucking give a fuck. You have no fucks given. You think I'm the monster. You think I'm the bad person. And then you get to believe that, oh, now you just hit the crucifix over here. This side of the crucifix now. That's what she was doing. She was pointing at Sarah Cooper, that's why. And then Sarah Cooper used to drive by and making sure she used to be okay because she cared so much. My mom is crying. Like, this was not like a month of an argument. This was, I'm 5 years old, showed up 4 times probably to our house in total. They know about Frankie being raped. They don't even know about this dead little girl. At 12 years old, when my dad committed suicide, my mom's walking in there, and she's like a little small Toto with brains the size of a fucking peanut, just trying to defend her baby youngs like a bear cub, mama bear. Because Sarah Cooper's attacking Frankie, and I'm scared and I'm kind of nervous because Sarah Cooper's doing this to my mother, right to your fucking face, bitch. Now she wants to claim her dead spirit. And yeah, it's gonna feel comfortable too talking about this, because when we bury her, it's for Kenneth, for the hip hop, for the niggas, you know, because you already built this up. This was an ongoing situation. This was not one or two arguments. This was fuck you, bitch. I'm gonna control your life. I can mutilate. You're a wetback. She used to say this shit to my mother. My mother never talked about anybody more in my life about how disrespectful about Mexican people were, and that my mother was nothing more than a wetback. You're from Mexico. You're not from one of us. She used to say this racist shit. My mother was Mexican shit. You're not American Mexican quality. You're from Mexico. You're just a wetback. My mother would tell me this shit, and I didn't even understand like what wetback, what the necessarily terminology of what a wetback is. But you're not going to hear that story. You're going to hear the story that Sarah Cooper and Kenneth told you, and Ken Cooper. Oh, he's at the funeral? Maybe he's a spirit, controls her now, and he got her in the afterlife. Yeah, he's taking care of her. Now get everybody to believe that. Now I already threw your picture away in the trash can because it's Aztec, but it's a beautiful little girl that looks somewhat, maybe if my sister was healthy, at least the face and hair a little bit, other than she had these sort of measles diseases. Well then, I threw in the trash can because it's not Jesus quality as you ordered. Just like you're doing over here at the grocery store. There's no reason. I'm not the one going in severe detail, because you know it's all about the belief. It's all about the spiritual understanding of God belief, and that's what you're trying to get away with. I have nothing to go forward in with this funeral process other than to know how my mother's going to behave and how she was toward me, toward Frankie. Like, how are we going to go and have a funeral service with Frankie being retarded too, or something, getting all these ass rapes? I'm about 7 years old when that girl moves in. So that girl lives there for about 7 or 8 years. Frankie's being raped. Your son, you're being ass fucked. Frankie's being raped with a 10 count of homosexual men. The police department doesn't want to do anything. They are spreading like wildfire, trying to justify, and they're having people on the bus claiming that, no, we're doing investigating. We're investigating the whole time. That's what we're doing. Yeah, they're all playing this acting role. The President of the United States is the pig motherfucker that's ordering this shit against me and my family. He's the motherfucker that's doing this shit. And I do not like this at all. He's white quality, and it's just not about race this time. It was about Kenneth, and he got the good life the whole time. Now we just got to do this a little bit to Sara and Ken. Yeah, you see, but how did I live? What did I fucking get? And that's still dead bodies still fucking being thrown at me. Your kid got raped by 10 homosexual men. I got raped in 3 separate occasions. Once in Mexico, once, twice. I don't even remember if it happened more than 2 or maybe even 3 times by my uncle, but it did happen to me. And then molested and very quickly semi raped with the same person that was in Mexico when he came to live at our house. And I was about to rape the 4th time when this guy, this 6'2" guy, was raping the shit out of Frankie doing this. Yeah, and it was Sarah Cooper that protected him too. Spirit, yeah, it was that too, huh? Now get everybody to fight for it and believe it. And I'm not supposed to get fucking angry and want to get pissed off. And they're all fucking white. And they were racist when I was fucking young. At least a lot of them were. But it's time for hip-hop. You know, he was cool because he was with the black niggas. You know, he's hip-hop and he's transgender. Feel sorry for me. We have if I don't even have fucking food in my fridge, luxury to any of what any of my friends fucking had, you know, what the fuck was this little girl eating? But you're going to talk about Keynote and the transgender movie, yeah, and there's President Barack Obama transgender, yeah, and then niggas, and then, yeah, it was just fix your problems. And I'm not the one that's bringing this up. I was being slapped at a federal government building because my mom and this feels sorry, transgender Diana. I didn't know that was I didn't know that was Diana, but I think that was Diana that I saw. I think she had a stroke. I didn't know that was her. It was kind of very close like her, but it was her in a wheelchair. Unless that was some sort of costume. It's very difficult for me to accept because when I go through this funeral service at any given time, which I try not to think about too much and try to avoid my mind in those areas, it is not going to be good. It's all in the preparation for Sarah Palin and Sarah Cooper and the Congress pigs that were out there. This is not about any of this compassion. This is a Mexican person. This is a Mexican kid. They eat Mexican food there. They don't eat Ken Cooper, Sarah Cooper food there. She was, and they're going to beat my ass to make me think that when I saw her crying, and this is how they practice this. Sarah Cooper watches these videos and she'll watch this and she'll know how to then go into detail with that. When I saw Marissa crying, she was crying for Sarah and her entity spirit to make sure she was going to be okay. And she put her in charge to take care of my mother too. Because it was just love too, motherfucker. Now, that's the whole thing about the situation. I don't know if this little girl, and they shot me again. They just shot me with an electronic device when I'm talking about my dead sister. It's this guy right here, Ken Cooper supporter mascot, and he directs me toward the crucifix. And it shocks me. This is what this pig is fucking doing. But when we go to the funeral, I don't know where her tombstone is. If she has this, pretty sure it probably has a crucifix on there. It would have. Because then they could shit it out over there. You know what? Kenneth would be so happy in the afterlife because he believed in Jesus in his photos and he was just doing Jesus work. His dad built a church. His spirit is over there. I was a scumbag motherfucker who nearly digging in trash cans for food, but I couldn't even get a fucking job. But you're ready to then collect that shit and talk about how you're going to collect empathy and emotions from that shit. Then arrange it with your fucking white motherfucker over there at the grocery store. But I'm not supposed to get mad because when I say I don't give a fuck, leave me alone, I don't want to hear about it, she's dead, I'll deal with it then, I'm the enemy. And that's how you shoot my knuckles, right? Because you're just going to give the punch of a lifetime the way that Frankie was being punched and he showed up with plate-sized bruises when my mom's picking up his shirt. Because you're lying. I saw Ken Cooper and Sarah Cooper. They went to our house and they knew that Frankie got raped. They were insinuating to my father. My mother grabbed Christmas cards and ripped them out of my hand. And emotion distraught when I was 6 years old. Because she was calling my mother a bitch. She was calling my mother a wetbag. My dad has to say, don't come here again. But you're going to get this faggot downstairs who's going to go play mascot for the whites and say, okay, the white gave it to the Mexican instead of the Mexican being in control. We don't carry that ethnicity. We don't get to practice any of those beautiful spirituality. No, it's about this faggot right here, and then Jesus Christ, and then Gary Gwynn, he did it for the dead little. Yeah, it was Mike Standish. No, it was from Ken Cooper, the hero, the deputy that deals with so much shit and can do it and feels sorry for white hair. Yeah, he has blonde hair and blue eyes. You see how that works? But he's never going to go to prison. Feels content. You don't want to do this shit. They're attacking me. Who's the one that's being slapped and beaten? Not only electronic devices. When I'm coming and pay somebody $600, I was paying this person $600 minimum. I'm saying it was like $650. Minimum, I was paying $600. All bills paid, $600 or $650. Could have even been more. No, somewhere between $600 to $700, but it was $600 to $650 in the comfort zone that I remember. I know it was $600 to $650, but it could have been to as high as $700. For somebody to slap me and tell me how Diana slapped my mother, and then he raped Frankie. Because Barbara's feeling sorry because Barbara is George Bush's friend, and she was doing it for American flag again, all over again. But I lost my job. I had somebody that was murdered. I lost $175,000. This person is talking about all this detailed shit. I don't even know any of this information. I don't even know my mom got a house. I don't even know my mother got a fucking twin. I don't even know Julie has a fucking twin. But I'm being slapped and threatened also by Patrick, who's an identical twin. Nobody knows about that shit either. He steals my fucking money. He starts threatening me. He starts acting fucking. He's literally playing full, asking me 1,000 fucking questions and sizing me up. This guy's fucking 55 years old, and I'm paying for it. I don't get anything out of this. This person is finding out information. By this time, I'm 27 years old, working for the federal government. I only have 40 tickets, 35 tickets already. I'm not even 3 years in full recovery of cancer. But it's about Sara Cooper and Kenneth, and I feel sorry for Madison. White power. And I get white power at the White House to scum it out more. So they're throwing all this garbage, and then they're going to tell me, it's Jesus Christ there. And it's not no one that's tickling or doing any of this more than them. I more than freely talked about it when I needed to, this incredibility by my mother. But something that's never going to leave me is when, if there ever is, which I believe at some point there may be. There may not be while I'm alive. I may get cancer and there won't be a burial. But if there is, in which I think it could be 5 years from now, 4 years from now, 6 years from now, 7 years from now, I have to deal with my mother and how dull she's going to be about that. Like, I have to be emotionally, like, the relationship between me and my mother is not going to be good. It's about Sara Cooper and what she gave. Instead of scumming that worthless motherfucker and tell her to her fucking face, you want to feel sorry for a fucking 85-year-old worthless bitch that's willing to do that. Frankie's getting fucked in his ass, and now this is what they're doing. Oh, but you know what? Get me to go to a fucking nursing home for 7 years when I don't have to. But you can tell me that story, but nobody can tell me that, but total strangers can. The President of the United States is the one that's, that pig is the one that's ordering it. He wants to put a fucking ribbon on me. That's why he's doing that. They get exactly what they fucking want. I'm not an American to these fucking pig motherfuckers. This is their fucking country. This is for the white race. This is for some scumming language that they're going to use to then justify this shit. This isn't about me trying to argue my way into getting free money and loading millions of fucking dollars and upset because I didn't even get that. It has nothing to do with this goddamn shit. They spend that much time to torture me, track me down, shoot me with electronic devices. They could have spent that much time to try to fucking help me, and they didn't. And I'm having to deal with how Julian may feel about this. I don't even know how Julian may feel. I have to deal with this, but I'm practicing this type of language. I'm practicing this by the tongue. Sara Cooper and the dead little girl. Because she knows, yeah, I'm your sister too. Sister, 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 sister. Infuse that emotion and energy and mentality. You see how, and then Sarah, and then there you go, Sarah. I mean, Marissa. There goes Sarah. Oh, I mean, you see who you caught the bad person again, didn't you? Ken Cooper and the white race. This is what this is about. President Barack Obama and George Bush, Barry, Marissa, Miranda, whatever the fucking name is. Real good. Man, you really caught the bad person this time, didn't you? And it doesn't fucking matter. I still gonna have to be around my mother's twin. Because guess what? Oh yeah, Julian's identical twin, that's also his half-sister. But we're gonna feel sorry for Sara Cooper because she surrendered her life to a fucking faggot that was having a double life. And that's how she sacrificed her life, and just feel sorry for her. And they just shot this electronic device over here, because this is the crucifix over here now, too. This is this side of the crucifix. This one is over here better, yeah, than this one over here. Yeah, you got it this time. Like, I still have to communicate with my mother. You know, the little coffin starts wheeling down, starts crying, Sarah, the spirit of Marissa, Miranda, whatever the fuck her name is. And I look at Ivan. That's, probably more of his sister. Get Sara Cooper and Kenneth to start sending people over to Ivan. My mother's going to like that so much because she's not going to know about it when you're doing it. To get into his head. Oh, okay, yeah. And you got a guy over there, yeah. It's white cleaning up Mexican again because we couldn't do it though, huh? Transgender motherfucker. What do you think my mother's going to be feeling sorry for? Burying Patricia Gardina or burying her daughter? And then what do you think all those emotions are going to be? Oh, don't tell her because it's for the President Barack Obama and George Bush. Yeah, it's for them. This would have never happened to a white person. This scum shit would have never happened to those white scum motherfuckers, the Cooper family, to do that extensive horror of bullshit. But number one thing is to control that entity and energy, soul and ghost and godlike connection to Sarah Cooper and Kenneth and Madison. Because remember who gets that good life and comfort life? And who gets that treasure by everyone liking you, believing that spirituality of God. You know, when you think, oh, this spirit, oh yeah, and then that feels very comfortable because then you got the fucking crucifix there too. Then you want to scum me this shit and then get the fuck out of me with these electronic devices, forcing me to believe that. Playing all this cycle, it's very demented. And that's not something I want to play with and be a part of, but I have to. President of the United States is sending that scum piece of shit like that. They're the ones that's doing it.